The sports program has been pre-recorded and is being brought to you in living color.
Contrary to some of the sour grapes we've heard this week coming out of Oakland and Miami and Los Angeles, they're really the two best teams because we have the best records and we've done the things that need to be done to get here, are playing in the Super Bowl. And the winner will be the champion of all of football.
When you don't win, you're dumb. You don't know enough to get in out of the rain. But when you win, you're smart. And I was the only dumb person left in our league. And I'm glad that we won, so at least they can't say, well, he never won. And that's one thing that maybe it's selfishness on my part, but it is the one thing that I get that stigma off me.
And going down is Franco Harris. Right on him was Roy Winston. He lost his footing. 3rd and 7. They're looking for a pass, the Vikings. Bradshaw will accommodate. Trying to get out of the pocket. He's tripped up. There was a great charge by Bob Wurtzema.
That's twice, though,
Also,
Kurt.
Alan Page, who got a hand on his ankle.
That's twice. It looks like that both guys have slept out there. The time before it was Harris. Page come in.
Great movement by Page. He's just going to the outside. The three-man rush. He gets by Jim Clark.
And ran over Cobb there with number 55. He put some pressure on him, didn't he?
Rolling out of that pocket. The idea, get away from that fearsome rush. Now there's great pride in both defensive units. You've seen the pride of the Vikings. Now the Steelers are at it.
Target in the quarterback. 14-year career in the National. Foreman, Osborne, the running back, target and scrambles and completes it. He hits Gilliam, John Gilliam, wide receiver number 42, who's playing, you notice, on his left wrist. The right tackle, White 78 to ride in. They led the National Football League in getting to the quarterback. And now taken out of the game is Ernie Holmes. And coming on, Lauren Tage, linebacker. Target is scrambling away. Throws on the run, and he's dropped. It is no good. John Gilliam was there at the sidelines, did not have it long enough. It's an incomplete pass, and Minnesota now will be kicking against the wind. First period. High snap. Low kick against the wind, an excellent kick. Swan fields it on his 25, 30, 35, and suddenly he's nabbed as he crossed his 40-yard line from their 37. Meyer holding through at the 50.
Oh, wow.
And War veteran has a first down. He's brought to the turf by Jeff Wright.
All right, we're talking against Oakland. Rocky Flower was the guy that gained right close to the 100 yards. You'll see this little trap play come right back up through the middle. A beautiful hole. Nobody's in there. Winston's gone. Seaman's gone. Krause is the first one that picks him up. If you could get a good performance out of Rocky Flower today, everybody looking for Franco Harris.
Minnesota 45. On a comeback, it's Franco Harris. You haven't seen a slot back and two wides on the same side.
It didn't work.
It didn't work. They're trying to get Harris outside. They were trying to hook that left in Eller, and a flag went down. They have now a 2nd and 19 going. There's it out to Lewis. Lewis at the 45. He's the fastest player in the Steeler club. And he's back to the Minnesota 45, where he's up in it by Wally Hilgenberg. Anthony Lewis is still in there as wide receiver. Good rush on him. Oh, he's sacked. Well, I imagine that Minnesota front four is tired of hearing about the Pittsburgh front four. Trying to get outside is Foreman, and he's hit by Jack Ham. About a 4 in passing. Back he goes again. This is blocked, and it's hit there by L.C. Greenwood. Look at the golden shoes. He stands 6 feet 6 1/2. And Edwards are waiting for the ball in Viking territory. The low kick. Edwards fields it on the 44, trying to get a return right going. 45. Oh! We saw a man coming, and that is Matt Blair, and he's
Came out, yeah, that was the one.
Bradshaw pass is complete for a first down to Larry Brown, the tight end of Kansas. First down, Steelers.
Again, you see Page, number 88. They're doubling Page. They're coming back in there and getting pretty good this time. Not a great deal of protection, but just enough. The ball was slightly thrown behind Brown. As you said, they haven't used him that much, as you can see by his reception this year.
On first down, Blyer backs over the 25 and is met at the 22-yard line by Wally Hilgenberg of Iowa. They go for it. There's a slant over the head of Frank Lewis. Trying to get inside position on Wallace. But Bradshaw had a bad pass. He threw it too high.
Well, there was super pressure also. Alan Page moving magnificently. Bob Lurtzema coming across. Page constantly coming in, forcing a rather off-balance throw.
37-yard field goal attempt by the leading scorer of the American Conference, Roy Girilla. Bobby Walden is holding. And the kick is up, and the kick is no good. Faded to the left on him. Steelers have had some early chances here. Flag is down. Targeting getting away. And just throws the ball out of desperation with that furious rush on him. He was trying to hit Dave Osborne, but a flag was dropped in the Minnesota backfield. Targeting has attempted 6 passes, hit on 2. Deep sideline pattern. It is no good. He's out of bounds.
That was Gilliam.
Top. There would be a deep man. Andy does a super job, by the way.
Couldn't ask for anything more from a linebacker, D-Row, because he's right there. Let's see where that foot. That first one's a little bit out, and so is the second one. So he was out all the way. But
only missed by 2.
Only by 2.
This one is not too deep. Bounding around in Steeler territory. It'll be dead on the Steeler 48-yard line. 44, and now the Steeler 47. They've had excellent position during the entire first period. Blyer playing with shrapnel in his body. Had the Bronze Star and Purple Heart from Vietnam. 8, second down, 5, no score. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Shanklin on a flanker reverse at the 50. You notice the players are slipping today. The late tuners, and it's been raining all morning. Flag is down.
Well, when you see that kind of a play early, it does tell you something.
Delay, and then storming through is Harris at the 35. Harris bangs his way inside the 30 to the Minnesota 28. Jim Marshall had to catch it from behind.
Here's a man that knows how to run. Good move to the inside. They block Eller to the inside.
Good block by Blyer there.
Perfect block.
On Seaman, and he's doing it. Look at Marshall chasing from the other side, D-Row.
Now that's great pursuit by the elderly Marshall. We're approaching 2 minutes to go in the first period. Bradshaw, the bootleg at the 25-20, and he stepped out of bounds. A very dangerous runner. He's a third running back in the backfield.
His average gain per carry is like 5.7, but there's no way that was an option. He was going to run with it from the beginning. Had a good flow. You see him trying to direct a little traffic there. Skips over right coming up. Lost his balance a little, but he's going to go out of bounds. This is the extra ingredient that a big quarterback has.
Pittsburgh converted 1 out of 4 third down chances. Into the corner it goes, and it's tipped away by Jackie Wallace. Jackie Wallace of Arizona on the taxi squad last year. They say you can pick on him, but that was a brilliant play by Wallace from the University of Arizona. With the wind at their back. Fumble. Walden picks it up. He's hemmed in. Down he goes. And again, the Steelers blow a scoring opportunity. Jeff Seaman got him. A low pass could not be handled cleanly by Walden.
There it was. The snap was just slightly to the inside. The ball may have been a little wet.
A little bit low, I think, too. You see Walden, he almost gets to the outside and slips on the turf, D-Row.
Yep.
23. No score. Targeting. Rolling away. Under the gun. Flips it quickly out to Chuck Foreman. And there's the man that the Steelers will have to stop this afternoon. 5. Second down 10 for the Vikings. Oh, look at that, Ernie Holmes. Look at that charge at Holmes on Dave Osborne. He almost tackled the ball, the quarterback, and the runner at the same time.
We're seeing just beautiful defense. Andy Maurer has moves to the inside.
Trying to cut him off, D-Row, and he didn't make that cutoff block. Ernie Holmes.
Quick trap did not work.
Old Arrowhead.
That's old Arrowhead. He's got got an arrow right on top of his head. That's the way it's shaved or something.
Third down. Look at this rush on him. Look at this. Look at this. He's going to have to unload. And it is nearly intercepted by Andy Russell. It was meant for Gilliam and Russell. 34 was right in front of him. What a pass rush those Steelers have.
Oh, yeah, that's really going to cause them trouble all day. They can't.
15 to go, no score in this game. 13-15 remaining in the first half. Here's a draw play to Blair. The ball pops loose. Who's got it? Looks like the Vikings. Our first turnover.
And a biggie.
Randy Podal on it. Blair had it pop loose, and Randy Podal, the rookie of Stanford, recovered. And here's the Vikings' first scoring chance.
All right, the thing they're trying to do with a draw, they're going conservative with a draw rather than a throw. A play right there, Rocky Blair fumbles, can't get the handle on it. Krause misses it. It comes back up, Bolden gets it.
Well, Minnesota's ball now. First down. 3rd and 8 for the Vikings. This pass is too high for Chuck Foreman. Down around the 5-yard line. Mike Wagner, the strong safety, was there with him. 4th and 8. 39-yard attempt by Fred Cox. Cox's kick is up, and that kick is no good to the right. Pittsburgh has blown 2 scoring opportunities. Minnesota has blown 1. So it continues. A defensive struggle in the score. Minnesota nothing, Pittsburgh nothing. Total in the secondary. Bob Lertzema up front. 4. Bradshaw, quick with the Stallworth. A speedster is brought down. First down, and he's 46. Listen, he can shake it.
You bet he can.
Closest you're going to get to Terry. Bradshaw, very cool, very confident. Put it right where you should put it. This is going to be a great football player, that Stallworth.
Yeah, he's got the best hands, I'm told, as anybody on the league. I'm told that by Bradshaw, but...
That's Blair. Blair has a hole, and he's into Minnesota territory at the Minnesota 48, where Jeff Seaman hung it on him. Down and a yard to go. He's the only wide man out. 2 tight ends are in. The quick pitch to Blair. Blair stopped. Oh, there's a great hit for you by Jeff Seaman, who's ranging sideline to sideline.
Seaman, middle linebacker for the Vikings. Lambert, middle linebacker for Pittsburgh. Both real keys. Look at the pursuit here. Winston, number 60, is going to come up, but it's Seaman that throws that first hit in there. That's Winston is the outside linebacker on that side.
Bell and Garrett are the outside men going down for the field. Hanging this one up, end over end. It is bounding around, taken on the 6-yard line.
Wow. Not a good move
Sam
there.
McCullum, a rookie, tried to grab that when they called a fair catch.
Oh, if you don't watch him. 3 out of 12, ain't a good day.
Second down, 7. Vikings have the win. Fumble, they got here, and it is
Safety time.
a safety.
You betcha.
A safety, and Pittsburgh has scored.
Only like we've been feeling this. It looks like the things are physically. That's White coming in after Brandon. The mix-up, obviously, in the handoff.
It's Pittsburgh 2 and Minnesota nothing. Bradshaw on a play action. Flips it to Blair. Blair out of bounds at the 40. Blocked in Super Bowl history. So we have a history maker today.
I like to be part of first.
Here's a quick pitch to Stallworth.
Great
Play by Jackie Wallace. Wallace right on top of it, had a diagnose and made a tremendous hit on Stallworth. 2-0. They have not been able to move with their offense. Been all passes. Gilliam's pass is over the head of John Gilliam. Flag is down.
Got old Mel Blunt.
You may have a holding here in the secondary. Gilliam trying to get open.
He's a Mel Blunt in it. He was the guy that came out early this week and said, oh, yeah, of course, there are 2 or 3 teams better in the AFC than Minnesota.
Pittsburgh ahead. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Osborne stopped. They just can't run on it. That's L.C. Greenwood, or Dwight White, 78 on him. Gilliam and Lashley spread out to the left. Targeting, rolling
He's
right.
got him open down the middle.
There he had a man open that time, Chuck Foreman. They put their wide receivers left, then rotated right and hit Foreman coming out of the backfield.
You know, I think he's already got in his mind. He says, I got to go to my junk stuff today.
He needs a couple of inches here for a critical play. Foreman has it. Chuck Foreman dives for the first down and gets it. And the Vikings now can continue their drive. That slot left. 3rd and 8 for the Vikings. from their own 48. Targeted trying to go, and he's got it for a first down. Bounced up and right back again. So that's the one combination that's working for the Vikings, Tarkington to Foreman.
Whenever you get out in a formation like this, you're pretty well saying, I'm not going to run, but you also can dictate pretty well what kind of defensive coverage you're going to get. He hit him right in the hands. He bobbled it. Was fortunate enough for it to come back down in his hands. He picked it up, and he got a first down.
36-yard line of the Steelers. Foreman tripped up as he stumbled forward to the 31-yard line. He's the leading ball carrier. Nothing as we head into the last 2 minutes of the first half. Targeted. Throwing it out, and it is complete to Stu Boyd at the 27-yard line of Pittsburgh. 47. Foreman's back in. Foreman and Osborne. They'll try and throw it, and it's a quick hit to the 25. He may have a first down. Catching the ball is Osborne. They have all their timeouts left. They're on the 25-yard line of Pittsburgh for the first down. Now he fades straight out of the pocket.
Got him. He's got back row Mel Blunt.
William, it's intercepted by Mel Blunt. The ball popped high in the air in the end zone.
Oh, protection this time. We're isolated on Gilliam going across the middle. Nero, help me. I don't know who it was that hit him.
He goes right at the teeth of it. We said earlier.
He's open there. Look at him.
He was going away from it, but watch the safety man, Glenn Edwards, always coming. That is a pop.
It was Edwards, a good pop. It bounced up in the air. Mel Blunt's 47 over there. He's watched it come through.
Super.
As Osborne makes that tackle, you saw.
We could have played this one in Minnesota. They just announced 40-degree temperature, the chill factor 22. 2-0, a safety, a team safety, charged against the Vikings. A little over 7 minutes to go in the first half has been the only score of the game. Pittsburgh blew 2 field goal chances. Minnesota won. Minnesota on a late drive in the first half had a pass intercepted. The outstanding statistic of the game, 11 yards rushing for the Vikings. They've been outplayed offensively, but they're right in there in a 2-0 game. What do you think about the second half?
Well, the interesting thing as far as we're concerned, there's a look at the stats. Kind of overwhelming for 2-0. But, Don, it appears that Fran has gone away totally from his running attack. And I don't think he's going to get away with it. I just feel that he'll be intercepted several times if he stays that way.
Well, it's kind of interesting, Al. I think in the beginning he didn't really even intend to go with his running attack. But,
right.
You know, what's going to happen? It was a heck of a halftime. I thought that was fun. Duke Ellington really knows a lot about music, and I love New Orleans. So let's get this baseball game started here in the second half. You want to?
You're still going to make that Monday Night Baseball.
Oh, yeah, man. It's going to be all right.
All right, we'll have the second half kickoff. Super Bowl IX.
A little bit behind.
I'm close.
2-0.
He
It's
slipped,
a quick kick. And it is fumbled by McCollum and just saved. Let's see who's got it. Right down there at the bottom of the pile is Marv Kellum. Kellum recovered. 54.
You know,
let's look at all the way from the ground. There are times when ifs and buts.
Look at his foot
It's a
slip
little
up.
lucky,
That's the soccer style, and this field has been slick. That ball was not kicked the way he was trying to kick it. But it turned out well. That's one of those almost things. Boom, boom, Brown didn't quite get the handle on
Brown.
it.
Let me correct that. Brown fumbled the ball, and Marv Kellum, who played on an 8-man high school, wide receivers. They're going with the youngsters, Stallworth and Swan in the second half. 82 and 88. Brown's the tight end. Gravel and Kolb the tackles. Mullins and Clack at guards. Mansfield at center, the Lone Ranger. Frank O'Hara pushes through at the 20. 15, get the block, he may go! No, he's pushed out. Carl Eller saved it, Eller pushed him out.
Around here, this is the bread and butter man all year. Frank O'Hara soft tackle following Flyer's block. He kicks Hilgenberg out. Seaman couldn't get there. This is Eller. Watch Eller, number 81. He's the one that makes the tackle. Krause missed him first.
Stallworth made a fine block right there at the end.
All right, take it again, Nero.
Let's take a look at this.
They got Pace going to the outside.
Go to Kolb's side also. Again, now here comes, you saw that coming across Johnson.
Harris, pulled down. Wally Hilgenberg knifed in from the outside right and dropped him for a loss. Second down 9.
Look at that opening over there.
Running to the flag.
Oh,
Pittsburgh scores. Jerry Mullins threw the block for him.
Boy, did he throw a block, Perry. You call it right on the button.
Counter step.
172, the man from USC. Here's the block. Great block
On Hilgenberg. Seaman can't get there.
And Franco Harris is 99 yards rushing. Pittsburgh 9 and Minnesota nothing.
Well,
Pittsburgh's ball, first down on their 26. Franco Harris coming out to the 30. Fumble. Big pileup. Now they'll untangle him. Harris fumbled 9 times during the year, lost 8 of them, but he's fumbled only once in the playoffs. He had 111 against Oakland. He's over now. Winston stopping Franco Harris. 9:50 to go in the third quarter. There's a quick out pass, and it's complete to the rookie Stallworth. Jackie Wallace playing him tight. Long 2 to go. Steelers on their 47. They're ahead 9-0. Harris fights over the 50 and has a first down. Postseason competition. Pittsburgh on the Vikings 48 with a first down. Playing ball control now. They're ahead 9-0. Play action pass. Look out. Gets away. He'll run it. He's at the 50 and he sprints out of bounds into the Viking bench. On the defense for the Vikings. Whoa. They smell that one out. Carl Eller made quite a hit on Rocky Bleier. That's Eller's best play of the game.
beautiful.
They've had 2 incredible games back-to-back of stopping the ground game. Targeting.
Oh, that's it. He caught his own pass. He can't throw it again.
His own pass has reflection. Throws deep to Gilliam.
No.
He's got him.
No.
Gilliam.
Doesn't
Stops
work.
at the 40.
No.
What a play that was.
Does not
Flag
work.
is down back at the 10-yard line.
It was
Flag is down.
a fun play, but that will go down in the books as a completed pass from Tarkington to Tarkington.
Yeah.
That's true. That happens. Tarkington and Comparte. How does a quarterback ever catch a pass? Well, that's the way you do it. You get them knocked back at you.
And this all day. Roll out to the outside. L.C. Greenwood trying to get good position on Ron Yeri. That's 6'6". He takes advantage of it, slaps it back.
Who knocked it down? I didn't see. Was it
L.C.
Greenwood? Greenwood. Tarkington caught it and threw it again.
There he goes.
Well, it was the biggest play they've had all day, and they're probably going to get a penalty for it. Does that give you a clue how things going for the Vikes?
Well, now he's got that situation where...
Go.
All right.
There's a good burst by Osborne. That's the biggest gain they've had on the ground.
They caught him in a different defensive set,
Foreman
too.
bursting through. Taves hitting there. Mad Dog White. But Ernie Holmes is some player himself.
Well, we'll have to figure out a name for him.
They're trying to spread him. Draw play to Osborne. And that is number 68, L.C. Greenwood. He's one of the fastest defensive ends in football. Right now they're in the 3rd and long. There's a pass out. It's complete to Boyd. The tight end Boyd has a first down. Parkington hit a big one to Stu Boyd. Glenn Edwards holding down from behind.
Really a big one to the outside guys. From the end zone shot, you can see it. Slight slip by Green. Targeted, therefore, has a little bit more time to throw. He rolls out. He's got Boyd running kind of a square out pattern. That one had to be right on the money. That was Edwards right behind him. Yep. Boyd ran a quick square out and a big first down.
Out of the eye. Oh, another great charge. Foreman hauled down behind the line of scrimmage. And now they have sent Ed Bradley in. 2nd down, 12 for the Vikings with the Pittsburgh 47. That was blocked again. It's intercepted by Joe Green. It was blocked by Dwight White. A flag is down and intercepted by Joe Green.
Joe Green's 2nd interception of the year.
75 yards. They're ahead 9-0. Their ball. 2:30 to go in the 3rd period. Bradshaw. Franco Harris. Harris to his 46-yard line. 3rd down, 3 to go for Pittsburgh. From their own 46. Quick pass, intercepted. Jeff Seaman has it.
Probably going to be called back. I think Minnesota was offside.
Flag is dropped.
I think the Steelers are definitely the sympathetic favorite down here in New Orleans today.
The outside linebackers are out. Pittsburgh ahead 9-0. Bradshaw setting up, fires. Incomplete to the tight end, Larry Brown. Vikings on their 23. We have 2 reserve linebackers in for the Steelers right now. Targeting shoots the pass, and he completes it to Foreman.
All right, they had Foreman in the slot. What?
All week. 3rd down and 4 for the Vikings. Targeting setting up down the middle. It is tipped away. It was intended for Foreman. Glenn Edwards was there, 27. Wagner was on him too. They double teamed him.
It's a little bit lower than an interception for Edwards.
And the punt by Eyeshie. High end over end. Fielded by Swan on his 35. Breaks away, comes over the 40 and is downed on his 46-yard line. Swan averaged 14 yards a punt return during the season. 13 minutes to go. There's a fumble, and the Vikings have it. Vikings have it.
Oh,
Paul
yeah.
Krause, the veteran safety, 22.
This football game is a long way from over.
Well, it looks like it's not a good exchange to me, Nero. They just didn't get the handle on the ball. Krause has a way of coming up with things. I don't know how he does it. He just seems to be where he's supposed to be. That's a...
Harris in the playoffs. Now the Vikings have a big chance. Targeting. Going deep to Gilliam. And he's out of bounds. Flag
goes down.
Flag is dropped on Mike Wagner.
Fran Tarking can do this.
Well,
go to his big man.
There's the call right there. You see Wagner kind of easing into him, pushing him out of bounds, which is a good call again by the official.
After the interference call. And there's a fumble, a pile up at the 5. Up with the ball is Joe Green.
You think Mean Joe's running that ball?
And the Steelers have it. The Vikings blew another chance. Joe Green, who's intercepted a pass, comes up with a fumble at the 5-yard line. That's a 3rd turnover against Minnesota, 2 against Pittsburgh.
There goes Franco.
Boy, he's piling it up now.
That's what the Vikings have not been able to do, Kurt. They've not been able to give the ball to one of their backs all day.
3rd down and 2. And the Vikings were up and stop him short. Rocky Flyer hit by Alan Page, number 88, territory. He's shortened up because of the breeze. 20-mile-an-hour wind that Walden is putting into. Look out!
He got it.
Blocked. And it's a Pittsburgh touchdown.
Holy mackerel! Ho-ho!
Terry Brown recovered it. Nice call, D-Row.
Well, you talk about effort, I'll tell you.
59, let's look. Matt Blair blocked the punt, and it's recovered in the end zone by Terry Brown.
Blair was the same guy that made that good hit on the punt return a while ago. He comes in, number 59, really broke clean. There are 3 or 4 of them around there. That's what you call show business, folks. It's turned around a brand new ball game.
All right, Krause was spotted. Incredible. A team with about 30 yards rushing has a chance to win this game.
Oh,
good.
He did.
Hit the left upright. Hit the left upright.
Son of a gun.
And now the Vikes will kick off, and the score is Pittsburgh 9, Minnesota 6. Harris has gone all the way as running back. Cutting back. Here's a big game over the 40. And out to the 42 is Franco Harris.
Good.
Going to throw for it. Shoots it deep. And it's caught. Brown, the tight end, has a first down. Fumbles the ball. And let's see.
Vikings got it.
Minnesota has it. Jeff Seaman on it.
Oh, yeah.
Did they blow the whistle dead?
Well, Kurt, the
They may
man
have
was
blown the
down.
whistle dead.
Behind him, let's see. He had to come back a little bit, but it was still over. Is that Krause? No, that's right there. He comes back in, cutting back across. That's Watts. That guy's played a good ball game. And Winston, they knock it loose. They call the ball down right there, so it's still the Steelers' ball.
9-6. Flyer, big hole, running, loose for a first down.
All right.
Paul Krause had it dropping there. They ripped it open for him that time.
All right, here it is. Take it, Donald.
Nero, it's just that you hit them where they ain't. That's the thing they've been keying on is Harris all day. And Flyer had a good game against Oakland last week. Huge hole in there. Cobb's coming out in front of him. Krause, when you know the safety's making tackle.
Pittsburgh, they hit 9-6. cutback play. And Franco Harris, who is approaching Larry Sonka's all-time Super Bowl rushing record of 145 yards.
Which I bet he's not thinking about.
And a throw, he shoots it, he completes it. And he hits Rocky Flyer just short of the 5. Krause tackles him. First and goal to go for the Steelers.
Well, I think he really looked over his defense real well. You see he's getting plenty of time to throw, and that really is the key. That's what Brandt hasn't had. Flyer came out of the backfield. Krause was the first one to...
Let's see if they run or pass for it. This drive has used a lot of time. There's a rollout. Bradshaw fires. And a touchdown.
Brown.
Larry Brown, the tight end. Bradshaw to Brown. A 66-yard drive by the Steelers, who surged right back.
Run outside, rolled out. Here he goes. He has the option of running and throwing. Cobb falls down, which could be a handicap to him. You see Seaman running over. Bradshaw stops and drills this thing right in the middle with Brown. He found his opening back in the middle. There's Krause is too late.
Bradshaw's been booed for 5 years in Pittsburgh. He has come into his own the last month.
3:31 to go.
A lot of time, and now puts the Steelers 10 points ahead. We'll line up for the kickoff to score. Pittsburgh 16, Minnesota 6. Now, you have to respect his running ability, because he can take off and tear for that flag.
Well, you got a good block on Winston on the outside. Right here's the point. He made Seaman come up, number 50. That's the guy he had to work off of. That gave him the lane right through to Brown.
You're right, he really drilled it.
Yeah, there. That was hard one to defense against.
Vikings ball on their 39. Targeting, going deep to Gilliam. Intercepted by Mike Wagner. Wagner's at the 40. At the 50, still going. And is down on the Minnesota 41-yard line. Ron Yeri made the tackle. Franco Harris. And he's broken Larry Sonka's Super Bowl record. A new Super Bowl rushing record for Franco Harris. Who's the most valuable player in the game? Is it Harris? Is it Joe Green? Is it Terry Bradshaw?
They all are.
Or L.C. Greenwood?
You had 22 footballs. You'd have to give it to every one of them.
Year number 145.
Here he is breaking it, making the good Franco Harris cut.
Steeler fans counting it down. Rocky Flyer. Oh, he's been a plugger in the last few weeks for the Steelers. But they've been here 3 of the last 6 years. There it is to Lynn Swan. He's down by Carl Eller on a flanker reverse. He walks to Riverfront Stadium. He's a great Pittsburgh Pirate baseball fan. Rocky Flyer carrying the ball. Art Rooney probably sees more Pirate baseball games than the other fan. He just loves sports. He was quite a center fielder and quite a boxer in his day. On Fran targeted. 5 times they tipped his passes. This is Rocky Flyer. He's down. And the American Conference is now dominating the Super Bowl. This will be their 3rd win in a row. Miami twice. Pittsburgh today. That's the defense. There's the flare out. On a screen, it's Oscar Reed who's now in the game, and he's stopped by Lauren Taves, who's filled in for Andy Russell. Frankie Harris says, we're number 1, and he's been number 1 today, the most valuable player. We're down now to 15 seconds to go. The Steeler fans counting it off. The Vikings trying to line up. An awesome physical team were the Steelers today. Up goes Harris. Joe Green, Pittsburgh, the Super Bowl champs. Chuck Knowles up there. Pittsburgh wins it 16-6. Have some trouble. To the Vikings, another bitter loss for them, but their organization has been here 3 times now in the last 6 years. Kurt Gowdy thanking you for viewing it. The final score, Pittsburgh 16 and Minnesota 6. We'll have a review of today's Super Bowl game in a moment. Right now we pause for station identification. Tough defensive game, first half, 2-0 Pittsburgh, scored in a safety, 7 minutes remaining, a team safety, charged against the Vikings. When they had the ball on their 7-yard line, messed up a handoff, a target and recovered in the end zone. and then we started to break it open. In the third quarter, Pittsburgh went ahead, had a 9-0 lead. The Vikings fought back. Matt Blair blocked a punt. Terry Brown recovered in the end zone to make it 9-6. The Vikings missed the extra point. So it looked like we were going to have a close finish. But then the Steelers showed why they're the Super Bowl champs. They took the kickoff, ran it to their 34, took 7 minutes, 11 plays, and rammed it 66 yards for the touchdown with Terry Bradshaw passing to his tight end, Larry Brown. Final score, 16-6. Overwhelming statistics in favor of Pittsburgh. The incredible statistic, the Vikings made 21 yards rushing today. Oakland made 29 yards rushing against the Steelers in the playoffs. Franco Harris, there he is. He broke the Super Bowl record, not only for the most carries, but also for the most yards, breaking Larry Sonka's record of last year. Larry had 33 carries last year and 145 yards.
We're now in the locker room of the victors, and we have, of course, the commissioner, the head coach, and Mr. Rooney. Commissioner?
Well, Mr. Rooney, for over 42 years, you've been making more friends, I think, than anyone in the history of sports. If I had to guess right now, I would say that your strongest emotion would not be one of personal happiness, but happiness and relief for those fans in Pittsburgh and your friends all over the country that your team and your organization didn't let them down today. And on behalf of all of them, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to you, your great coach, Chuck Noll, your son and president, Dan, and the entire family, and a great, great football team.
Thanks, Pete. I'm grateful to the players and to Chuck Noll and his staff and to all the people in our organization. This was a great day for me personally and a great day for Pittsburgh. But the players and the coaches all year long thought that they would get this trophy, and I'm certainly grateful to them all. Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. I know that so many people that want to visit with you, and so much happiness, and there's so many tears in this locker room, and they're all of joy for you, sir.
Well, I certainly appreciate it because they're a great bunch of fellas, and I thought that just from being with them all year and being with Chuck Noll and the staff, that I'm not a bit surprised that they won the Super Bowl.
And we're awfully happy for you, sir.
Thank you a lot.
I know you want to get down with the ball players, and let me move over and talk with Chuck. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much. Boy, it's a big day.
Go back a long way in professional football, 15 years now.
I shudder to think of it. Yes.
Everything went, obviously, the way that you planned.
Well, you'd like to say that, but obviously they don't. We had a few mistakes out there, but I think our football team was functioning pretty much like they have all year. They just weren't going to be denied, and they played that kind of football. I think probably in our minds, the most fitting thing about this whole thing was that our defense was able to shut out a team in the championship game in the Super Bowl. I thought that was, I think, demonstrative of the way our team was all year. A great defensive team, our offense doing whatever it had to do to maintain possession and win the game.
The only selection, not the only selection, but one of the selections, and when people were deciding whether you should be the favorite or whether the Vikings would be the favorite, is that they would use history. And that the fact that the team basically that had been here before and had been through, the circus of Super Bowl week, this didn't seem to bother your ball club at all.
No, as I said going in, they just weren't going to be denied. They had it in their mind that they wanted it very badly, and whatever cost or whatever it was, however hard they had to go, they were going to get it.
What does the future hold?
Well, we're going to enjoy this right now. We're going to enjoy this right now. Every year, every week, we have to think of the game coming up next week. There aren't any more games, and we're going to relax and enjoy this for a little bit, but I think we're going to enjoy it for just a short time and then get on to next year.
And then be ready for next season. All ready?
That's right. It comes around fast.
Chuck, congratulations again. I know you want to be with the ball players, and we'll be back with more of the locker room and a chance to visit with some of the victors here. Okay, Chuck.
A lot of different vitamins.
Okay, we're out here. We're waiting for Charlie back in the locker room to talk to the players. And meanwhile, we're going to talk to a few Pittsburgh fans. Here's a man with an unusual trophy. Hold that up. How did you get that, sir?
Oh, a little wager with one of the Vikings. If the Steelers win, I had his hat.
You won it from the mascot, huh?
Thank you.
Okay, back to Charlie in the locker room.
All right, we're now back in our interview room, which is just off of the locker of the Pittsburgh Steelers with the quarterback Terry Bradshaw and also, of course, Al DeRogatis, Don Meredith, and John Brody. And let's just turn it open. Don?
I just want to say, happy for you, man. It was a super job out there today. It's, well, what can you say when you win a Super Bowl, huh?
It's hard. When I had more emotion, or I had more emotion in the game from you last week against Oakland. But after this one, I just, maybe I'm in shock yet. I don't know. I just kind of walked off, and I'm still kind of in a haze.
You've had a lot of criticism all year for he couldn't do this or he couldn't do that. You've come on and had great games the latter part of the season, and today in particular, the ability that your size and so emphasizes you can run. We've got some film of you running out here today, and I think that is an asset for a quarterback. You might want to comment, and we can roll this stuff up. It says Bradshaw package number 2. Take it away.
Well, running, puts a lot of pressure on him, and this is a play we've been running the trap off of, and I didn't tell anyone I was going to keep it. If I told him I was going to keep it, I could have scored very easily.
Well, what we said was it didn't look like you had any intentions to throw it all. So you just didn't tell anybody that you were going to.
No, I just didn't tell anyone I was keeping it.
What dictated whether you did keep it?
Whether or not the end closes down.
And can you tell that at the set?
I could tell it after I hand the ball off whether or not he had previously made the tackle. And so I've done it so many times in the past, and I just said, later on I'll come back and keep
So that off the same play, what you actually did is just take a look when you handed the ball off, saw it, made the play. It looked like you might score.
I thought had I told Ronnie Schenk when I was going to run, I would have. Very easy.
Terry, there was a couple of situations. One right at the end may well have been the best executed play of the day. That was the one where you made the roll to the right. Linebacker Jeff Seaman seemed to be penetrating, and you picked Larry Brown out of that backfield. Once again, it was that ability to run, that fact that they had to respect you as a runner. And I guess in part of your game plan, and we do have a film of this, that big play right at the end that kind of iced the football game. So let's take a look at this, okay?
Well, what is it? This is a pass here?
This is the one where you're going to...
This was a key one, I think, Terry, when you actually, you pick up about 4 or 5 yards, but the
that's really when they started
blitzing
us. Yeah. They started blitzing us to take away the run, right. The pass yard we're talking about was...
The touchdown
we're talking about on the goal line, the
touchdown.
Was one where Seaman had to respect the run because there was, he didn't know at the time that I had to run. I mean, I had to throw. I couldn't have scored running the football.
Terry, the touchdown pass now again. We'll take one look at it. We got it so many times, and it was a beautiful play.
This is it.
Well, I certainly enjoyed
See Seaman coming across right there, number 50. Yeah. He starts up, just barely misses that ball.
It looks like you almost...
from this.
You know the criticisms that you've had. You've had them all year. The last 3 games, does that answer all your critics?
Well, I'd like to say it's all said and done and in the past, but I don't think you can ever really please or please everyone, and I'm going to have to go on living with it, Super Bowl or not. I just don't believe it's going to settle anything. I just believe it's something that's been passed down now for 5 years, and heaven knows why. I certainly didn't deserve it, but I've been labeled what we've been talking about, which I don't even like to get into, but I'm hoping it's over with, but I know it isn't.
All right, again, congratulations, and it's nice to be number 1.
It is.
It is. And we'll be back. We'll be back, gentlemen, with more interviews and more of the world champions in just a moment.
Sounds good.
Yeah, come and join us. You were a little sick this morning, upset stomach, or what?
Oh, no, wasn't anything to keep out of the game, but I had a head cold and it was kind of stuffy and everything. But, you just have to put that aside on a big game like this. Can't let a cold stop you.
Didn't seem to bother you at all?
Nah, they say there's no cure for it, so I wasn't looking for one.
Did the conditions out there today, Franco, change anything that had to do with your pregame planning? Because I know it was awfully slippery. It was almost the same as a real muddy field in which it was difficult to pull, it was difficult to cut at times, and I know several times you had holes that you weren't able to get to because of the footing.
Right. Matter of fact, it happened on the first play I ran the ball. We had we could have had a big play right then, but I slipped and I wasn't able to make the cut. But you just tend to adjust to that and like you try to run with your feet more up under you and like not try to really stretch so you will slip. So once you make the adjustment, it'll be all right.
Didn't seem to bother you much.
Well, you know, once we start going.
Franco, we had so many great plays of you today, setting that record, breaking Zonka's both rushing and number of times carried record, that we'd like to take a look at a few. The running game was well established early in this football game. You folks ran left extremely well. So let's take a look at this package, and maybe you can go over it.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to say that I was really surprised that I broke the record. I didn't realize I was anywhere near it.
But I tell you, I told you, he would be thinking about that all day long. Franco's worried about it. How many times he carries and whose record he breaks.
Right, yeah. Louis has certain plays that work pretty good. Like our special, they close the trap extremely well, and that opens the outside some, and you know. So.
Last week again, or 2 weeks ago against Oakland, Rocky did a good job in kind of offsetting the running game, almost 100 yards, and you've had 100 yards. And again today, and talking to your teammates, they give you a big compliment. They say, hey, Franco's blocking real well, and I'm sure that does complement each other. Maybe it's an old cliche, but you really have played well all year in blocking and running. Do you feel there's anything particular that's the cause of that?
Well, for myself, I'd rather throw a good block than have a good run.
Yeah.
Really, you know, because I think that's a very important part of the game. And most of the time, it's the other running back that breaks the other back for the gainer. And so I know how important it is. So when it's time for me to block, I really try to go all out so he, you know, can get his big run too.
And it's usually the running back that knows that the other running back is the one that's I guarantee you. Let's take a look
at the touchdown on run.
Also take a good look at Mullins' block here.
Yeah. Like on our last play, I want to say John Starworth threw a really good block on the defensive back there. That was really good. Bam, yeah.
How about
great.
that?
A little counter move, and you came back to the outside.
Just left the whole side open. Great.
Super play, Franco. I'll tell you, you know,
Hi, Joe.
sitting with these two quarterbacks here, I have a tough time talking about the line, but I see that there's the line back there.
There's our defensive lineman right back there.
I'll tell you one thing. That offensive line did a super job also.
Yes,
they were blocking Kolb, well, the whole line. Just a great effort.
You know, like they were just cutting those guys and getting us a lot of running room. And, you know, what can you say about Rocky? He just blown in there, hurting guys, punishing them, you know, weakening them. And, you know, like it's just great. You know, like when you see somebody doing like that, you see our line doing like that, it just gives you some more inspiration. And that's what the whole game's about, to get the momentum going.
The thing I like about these guys, they look like they belong as Super Bowl champs. They're coming here, they're all cool, man. You got your stogie with you. Have a good one. You've had a good year, baby. I guarantee you.
Sure, I have the feeling that it's been somewhat overplayed. You fellas have been in the playoffs for a long time. You understand pressure. In the warm-ups today, we knew, Don and I were talking, I'm sure John was saying the same thing. We knew you were cool, and we knew it was going to be a tough afternoon. It was just a fantastic effort.
All right, we have one more play, and this is the one that you broke. We don't have that play.
As we said, we have
one more play, but we're not going to show it. No.
Thank you, Franco.
Okay. Franco, again, congratulations.
Way to go.
LC's on the press test.
All right, we have Joe Green. When he stepped up, I said, mean Joe Green, and you have stated that your name is Joe Green, and you said, what did you say today?
Call me anything you want to.
I like that.
Please call.
Number one. All right.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you, it's not very often a guy gets to make two plays that might have turned the game around as much as the two plays you made. And they've been talking about mean this, mean that. You were a happy dude out there, and I'll tell you, you got everything moving. At one time, I saw you looking back to the offensive hunt. What were you saying?
Refuse to be none less than number one. Nothing less. Nothing less than number one.
I'll tell you, your influence was felt all day long, and I know how much coordination goes in to what the defensive line forced Minnesota to do today. And tell us about some of the games you guys played, because I know they wanted to take those games away, where you're stunting with both LC and Ernie and Dwight, and you guys play an awful lot more than a lot of guys do of those games, and you do it awfully well.
Well, our best front is the even front, the 4-3, and we try to mix it up and do a lot of things. Last week we had done the U games, and Oakland shut them out pretty good, and we knew Minnesota would be looking at them. So this time we switched it up and sent the ends first instead of the tackles, and sometimes I get over the center and Fats cover. Ernie Holmes, Ariel.
Oh, I'll tell you, now,
vice versa.
There were so many big plays, Joe. Early in the football game, we said a factor had to be stopping Foreman. Let's take a look at you stopping Foreman.
That ain't Foreman.
That ain't Foreman. That's
I
what
was
I'm
I
Someone whispered the wrong thing in my ear. Little bird whispered the wrong thing in Albert's ear.
I've been quoting you all week. Whether it's right or not, I'm really not sure. I guess I should have checked with you first. But you were quoted as having said that the anticipation of achieving something had never been as great as the accomplishment. And they were asking you about the Super Bowl. And now I have the opportunity to ask you, Joe Green, you've accomplished the Super Bowl. You say, I'm a proud man and I want to try to do my work. What does the Super Bowl mean to you, man?
Fantastic. Yes, you know, beyond my wildest dreams, I didn't think you could get this big a charge out of it. I really did. At a football and at a Super Bowl game. I sit and watch it. I watched it for 9 years and envied the people that played it. I just didn't think you could get that bigger charge out of it, and it's even bigger than I thought it would be.
Well, I'm glad for you, man.
Thank you.
I think we got another play here we're going to look at. Let's see. What's he doing this time?
Well, it's a great play, whatever it is.
He's after Fran Target, and I know that chase for the quarterback.
Still been chasing for 6 years.
Let's try it again. Here it is, Joe.
That was a good move right there, Joe. The fact that you go up forces him back.
Right. The fact that you guys tipped about 5 passes today, I think.
That was probably the best thing that we did all day. Most, was keeping him from throwing the ball when he wanted it to.
Yeah.
You know, as fast as you guys, as important as it is to contain Francis, you guys did it as well as anybody I've ever seen do it today. And did you have anything special that dictated how you do it?
Well, with the games we ran, sometimes I had to contain it, sometimes LC had to contain it, but what we wanted to do was keep him in and make him throw the ball.
And you did it. And thank you very much, Joe.
Super Bowl.
Way to go, Joe.
And we'll be back with more of our chit-chat with the world champions in just a moment. We are gathering the group, and we'll just turn you loose at them.
I can't think. What do you
I can say so many things. I might be a little prejudiced to the defense because they were so outstanding. But, Rocky, it seemed today that they might have been keying a little bit on Franco. And you guys, Franco would dive into the left. You'd hit that hole so quickly that you did effectively last week also.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one play that we put in today was a dive 34 counter, or a dive 34 sneak, which was actually Franco coming in on a 32 trap and I coming off his tail end. And we were doing it to Sutherland, and then at the end, who jumped in there? At tackle, I can't remember. Yeah, but anyway, it was new, and that was the biggest play that we had, I mean, as far as it really opened up. Of course, we had, in the beginning, we had the one tackle trap that opened up for 15 or 18 yards in the middle.
Seemed like Alan Page was going real well early in the football game, and then later on, the front line seemed to pretty much contain it.
Yeah, we felt that we had to run at Allen to stop their defense, and so we figured if we can run right at them, then there's nothing else they can do.
Yeah.
And later on, I think Allen, they got a little tired, and guys came off the ball tremendously.
If I can, I'd like to ask both Dwight and Ernie if I've ever seen a football game dictated by 4 cats up front, which you 4 today, and I've never seen it, you've done it against Oakland and you've done it against Minnesota. Now, nobody's done it against 2 outstanding football teams like you have, and I know how you feel. You mentioned earlier in the week that you were going to you ran out of air. Somehow you didn't run out of any today, Dwight, and what went on?
I was lucky today. I got out of the hospital on yesterday, and I just couldn't miss it. This was too big.
Well, you don't look sick. I'll tell you.
I feel sick. I'm pretty sick.
You got a rookie that slipped in there behind you. Now, you guys let that rookie slip in there. Super Rook has done it. You hurt a little bit today, didn't you?
Yeah, I sprained my ankle pretty bad in the first part of the first half, and I don't know. I felt that if I stayed in, I'd hurt the team more, so I decided to stay out.
It's got to be a team man. Jack Lemmert has done a heck of a job all year
can we do
long.
something? No, we've heard so much this week about Arrowhead. Do you think we can get one little peek?
One peek.
Well, as you like to say it, I'm going to retire until next year now.
Ernie, you had a great day, I'll tell you. Made some of the fine early plays. Now, you were in several one-on-one situations. Anything happen in there that really was any kind of a surprise to you?
Well, really, I had read a report from some of the editors that was about a man, Andy. He said he was going to keep me from manhandling, and I didn't think that was possible because I think he's a very weakling individual.
We did a pregame show down here, guys, and I want you to know that Namath picked you guys to win right on those 10 points, and I was forced into a 1.2.
Oh, come on.
For Minnesota. I wasn't trying to tell you.
Now the guys are up here suddenly.
But you really did hit it, and congratulations to all of you. I think it was really a super ball game.
Thank
Charles
you.
Jones
Well, I have my man holding my microphone for me. Again, congratulations to all of you. I don't think you feel as happy as everybody in the locker room, and I still feel of everybody involved that Mr. Art Rooney is the happiest of all people today.
Right.
That's right.
Thanks for coming by and visiting.
Okay. Thank you.
Enjoy the year.
Can we, are we going to see you again next year in the same thing?
Well,
what do you think about that? See, they had a Super Bowl last year, and they have one this year. They got plans for one next year. So what
well,
about
You mean this is
we hope we're here. We hope we're here.
There will be. Okay, congratulations to John Brody, Don Meredith, Al DeRogatis, Kurt Gowdy, for Jeannie Morris, and for Jack Perkins. This is Charlie Jones saying so long from the Super Bowl.